Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Virgo December 2023 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant. Now, this month we have a really interesting deck. It's a deck, the theme of which is sub-Saharan African, in particular the cultures of West Africa. And so I'm sure that those with an African heritage will find an emotional connection with the artwork here. But you know what? I think that you will as well, because the imagery is very evocative. By that I mean it draws emotion out of you, and that will be in combination with the astrology and the numerology and the cosmic influences which are floating around and interacting with each other during the course of the month, which these cards are going to reveal to you. And of course, I've done a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for many people over the course of the last month via FaceTime and Skype from different countries. And I say it goes for an hour, but very often, in fact, most often it goes for much longer than an hour. Now, of course, readings I have to charge for. At the end of the video, if you're interested, have a look at the description box. Now, I also, as you know probably, if you've seen me before, I also, apart from being given the gift of clairvoyance, that spiritual gift, I was given the gift of healing at birth. And the gift is exercised by me. I have to use it, and I cannot get anything in return for it. So it is offered for free. No catch, no obligation, and I can promise you nothing will be sold or recommended to you by me to deal with anything which I do or that anybody else does as well. Now, don't be embarrassed or shy to approach me. I set time aside each day to provide the healings, you know. And I've been doing this for over 40 years, and I can assure you that there is nothing that I have not seen or heard over the course of that time, so I am completely non-judgmental. Incidentally, I don't keep any records, and I don't even remember what we talk about, either during readings or during healings. Now, check out the information in the description box below for healings. Now, the subscribers know, and great to see the subscribers. Thank you for inviting me into your home each month. I really do enjoy seeing you, and you're like part of my extended family, truly you are. Let's see, there are no video advertisements breaking into this, so you get to enjoy the experience of the reading direct, without interruption. So let's see what there is in store for you, shall we? Little gourd. Gourd, I suppose, is a vessel for holding liquids, or water mainly, I would imagine. There's the 4 of coins. I think you're going to find this imagery interesting. There's the emerging one. What am I going to get from these pictures? We shall see in just a second. Young staff. And finally, what's this? Have a look here. And it is, what? The 7 of staffs. Well, why don't you come now? Sit down here, as is our usual practice, next to me. I'll bring the camera around. You and I can have a good close look at the beautiful artwork on these cards together while I do the reading for you. Now, just while I pick up the energy of this card, you know, sometimes I look at the small YouTube tarot channels, and there's one I've found called Ministry of Tarot, and it's operated by a lady whose style, of course, is very different to mine, but nevertheless, I think she's authentic. So at the end of this video, maybe you might want to look at Ministry of Tarot to see for something completely different, but something which I enjoy anyway. Okay, I've got this now. I'm going to start with this. And what do we have here? What we have here really is your spirit about to come into life, about to come into flesh itself. Because upon the shoulders here, of this emerging one, this is pure soul with just a faint twinkle of new light in its eyes, and on its forehead here, or forehead, there is the receptor that continuously guides the emerging one through its journal, which is male and female, this person, of course. Now, this purple amethyst that's here acts as a receiver of information from the spirit realms, other dimensions, and the energy fields that are all around us. It is the unconscious guide of which the emerging one will someday become aware, making it one of their most powerful tools. Awareness is the key to survival. Now, upon its shoulders, of course, rests a goat wearing a crown of flowers, representing childlike innocence. Now, the goat brings with it the spirit of independence, I think, curiosity, intelligence, goats, and ambition. There's a Capricorn element there, perhaps. Now, its symbolism for me and physical form are really so varied that it brings nourishment, warmth, and assistance through a strong connection with the earth itself. And around the planet, the goat has been used and seen as a vessel of purity and sacrifice, as well as a symbol of sin and darkness. It embodies really the complexity and balance of humanity as a whole. And while the new air is crisp and refreshing, the goat reminds the emerging one to stay grounded and not to be consumed by the excitement that newness and space and time here in flesh have to offer. Now, the energy that is coming up here for you, very much so, is that of an openness by you at this time and a trust in other people. And I think you'll be ready to take a risk. And in particular, you will have the courage to stand your ground. Now, that's interesting because this energy is replicated in some respects by this one, which I'll get to in due course. But there's a great degree of creativity and potential here with you, and to the possibility to take something of a quantum leap. You'll be in the present. There's new beginnings here, and you'll be acting without malice. I think it'll be very individualistic as well, I've got to say. Now, this is suggesting to me that you are ready for a new beginning, perhaps even a quantum leap, as I say. So give in, dare to leap, even if fear attempts to hold you back, because now you are walking without fear. You have conquered it. So trust the voice from within your heart. Now, what is the tiger of fear for you that you conquer? How do you imagine the courageous leap into the new? What does it look like? Where does your heart call you to go? Say to yourself, I am a radiant being. I am a living treasure. I honor and value the unlimited resource of courage which is within me. I respect the nature of who I am. There is nothing to fear. I now follow my heart. I am open and ready to go wherever it may lead me. Now, I said that I saw a connection with this card, so why don't we have a look at it? Isn't that interesting? Sort of art on that. What do we have here? Well, what's this image got to say? What's it telling you, Nigel? Well, I think it is challenging you to stand your ground, to be immovable, and to maintain what you have built up so far. Now, there may be challenges and disagreements that are calling for you to be assertive, to remain confident in your own expertise. Now, this can be a difficult aspect for those of us who are more passive or lack assertiveness, it has to be said. Now, I think what there is interesting here is this symbol of the cube, which speaks of great strength that's here. This is very important here from a symbolic point of view to me.
And I feel here that what this is here is that this sits above as a symbol of earth, security, and also of the root chakra, I think. And it brings peace and calm to you in times of chaos. And most importantly, I suppose, it begins in the spirit, which we looked at with the emerging one. Now, you draw security down into the physical by balancing the energies within your own form. And this phallic sort of a root tip here, I suppose, that casts the energy outward not only as an anchor, but also as a defense against the energies below that might threaten your security. Now, this is Mars in the third decan of Leo that I see here. That's the 13th to the 22nd of August. And you've got a fire sort of, it is a fire suit, isn't it? Staff, so I imagine that's fire. It looks like fire to me. That's the image I'm getting from it here. Well, this can bring about some dissipation of power here. The reason being is because as a number 7, it's a long way away from the ace. And as the number 7, I also have a mystical association with the planet of Venus, which is feminine, and which can sometimes not want to stand up to this fiery Mars, which is in Leo. Mars and Leo normally do get on together, I have to say, but as I say, we're getting quite far down the suit here, so you've got to start to dig deep into yourself. Now, the number 7 from a numerological point of view for me means a sort of an introspection, thinking things over, re-examining things in your mind. It's also about choices. It can be about secrets, you finding out secrets, but it's also about you regaining control. Now, Mars in Leo normally indicates someone acting with authority and power. But here, in the context of the depth of the suit that we're in, you will have that authority and power, but you need to dig deep and use all your resources. In what could seem to you from time to time to be the odd, difficult situation. But nevertheless, you will have courage, daring, impact, and you will take the risks, and I don't see you making any compromises. Do you know the male warlike power of Mars combined with the daring of the lion of Leo produces an incredible force and impact. So you're going to be assured that if you have any fight that comes up, it will be carried out impeccably. And this is expressing a intensification of energy here. There's a courage here, which is an outgrowth of your prior personal experience, because it arises through your ability to learn from past experience. And if you apply these lessons, you will be able to take further risks with greater awareness and to success. You know that being true to yourself includes standing up for your own truth, even in the face of immense resistance. So trust your power. Now, in this present situation, you must assert yourself at all costs. Now, are you ready to accept all the consequences? Become aware of whatever fears have prevented you from now. Although you conquer these fears, you conquer them, so these fears, be aware of them, but conquer them, face them, call them by name, as I say, and then you take power over them. 99% of defeating a fear is acknowledging that it's there and calling it by name. And say this to yourself: I express my own reality openly and honestly. Now, I'm drawn to go to the other end of this diagonal that we're on here, and to go up to this. Oh, isn't this so nice? This reminds me of, I'll tell you a story. This energy here reminds me of an African story. And what we have here is, this is very much a very highly emotional card for you, very romantic. Atop of this person's head is a blue scarf, and that's adorned with beads, and there's this gold mask that's sitting in the center. Now this, I think, is a reference to the Bauli tribe, which is one of the tribes in Ghana in West Africa, one subset of the Akan people and the Côte d'Ivoire. Now, history and legend has it that they were at a time led by a queen, Abla Puko, who sacrificed her infant, her baby child, to save her people when they were on the run from the Ashanti Empire. Now, after they'd made a very dangerous crossing of a desert, they came to a river, and to safely cross the river, it was required by the river that they all sacrifice something that was most dear to them. Now, people gave up gold and cattle and things like this, but what was most dear to Queen Abla was her own little baby boy, who she gave to the river so it would open up a path for her people. And she cried out at that time, Bauli, which meant, the child is dead. And then the people, legend has it, then named themselves Bauli in honor of her sacrifice. Now, the story goes on that she then threw herself into the river, saying that no kingdom is worth the sacrifice of a child, and she went into the river swimming around looking for the little baby. And when she saw his lifeless little body floating, she swam to the river's mouth and out to join the sea. Days, months, and years later, she succeeded in conquering a kingdom even greater than the one she had been promised. But now she was half woman and half fish. And she is the unchallenged goddess of the underwater universe, mother of the waters, queen of the oceans, and the belly of the sea is her vast womb. Now, I see Sagittarius being important to you, also Libra and Scorpio being important to you here. This is emotional freedom for you, and freedom from jealousy. You conquered jealousy here, and you have a great trust in yourself. You'll be very gracious, voluptuous, sweet, gentle, kind, romantic, and quite dreamy, I think. But you will be able to crystallize things because there's water here and earth, and water can give substance to ideas, and it supports life, and you can form things, and it's the basis of chemical combinations, water. So you have the ability to actually create what you think about. You will be able to put into place. But this is definitely a time when you should trust your feelings and perceptions, because you are on the right path. Now, is there anything else preventing you from being fully free? You now have the opportunity to let go of it as well. Imagine yourself surrounded by water and dancing the dance of salvation and freedom with light flowing movements, and say this to yourself: the more I love myself, the more I can share with others. Now, going to the other side of that horizontal line that's up there, we come to this, and this is a young man who is, I would say, standing in front of an adobe village. And it's the Four of Coins, is it? Yes. And here, well, one coin he's got in his left hand here. Another coin is on top of his staff. The third coin is, I would say, guarding the doorway to a granary. And this looks like where he lives, and I would say that coin there is guarding, or the doorway into his mud brick house. Now, this is the sun in the third decan of Capricorn, and this is particularly good for you because Capricorn is a feet on the ground, eye on the prize sort of a sign, isn't it? And those with the sun in Capricorn have a realistic, grounded approach to life, and that can really be seen no matter how challenging the rest of their birth chart happens to be, in my experience. But again, this is about manifestation here for you. I think that this is about power here for you. There are strong foundations in your material life. There's a stability. Now, you may be taking something of a tight rein on the budget and being financially cautious and saving for the future while protecting yourself. But I see here that there is crystallization of ideas. Yes, the sun in Capricorn. Well, the sun energizes the Capricorn earth, and material benefits and power are the result. Now, the sun in astrology is the symbol of your dynamism or power, and Capricorn is the application of that power in a useful way. Now, this does suggest a time to me where financial and material security is important to you, but I think you've got some solid foundations here, and it may well be that you've got the ability to begin to acquire some assets due to sound judgment. Now, you are willing to work for what you want, and you'll have confidence in applying yourself to the world. You are a dependable person who acts with integrity, and this speaks of the fulfillment of your personal goals or dreams. Just incidentally though, is your life or your behavior like some sort of a rigid building? Or does your life, your behavior need more order, structure, and solidity? Nevertheless, say this: I offer my power, which now I have, in the service of love. And that takes us finally to this young gentleman who is at the bottom. But these court cards, of course, this is a court, I would call it. The face. Let me look into your eyes and tell me what you have to tell me. Okay. You have to say what to me? You have to say to my friend here. Well, the first thing is this, is that Leo is going to be important to you. I think Cancer could be as well. This is saying that I think you'll be very swift and strong. You could well be impulsive, notwithstanding this, but nevertheless just and noble and generous with a sense of humor. But there could be an intensity of your character. There is around here a blossoming love. Now, this can occur in the case of an existing happy relationship or in a new relationship, and there's an enormous energy. Speaking of intuitive creativity, there is this sense of you moving out of the darkness and into the light is what I have here. Do you know, you will personify the mastery of intuitive creativity. All your senses are geared towards being used for creative purposes. You'll trust your intuition, and you might surprise other people with your original ideas and solutions, but nothing will slow you down or limit this creative flow. The blazing fire of creativity is going to keep you in motion. I think this also represents a turning point for you. If things have been going in a difficult direction, they're now going to turn around and start going into a good direction for you if things have been going badly. Because you must also use, and I'll refer to him as a he, his energy and enthusiasm to move on to better things with the same confidence that he has. And he reminds you to re-engage in life and to be ready to tackle any challenges. I think this is saying for you to have a lust for life, all the parts of life. Be generous, loyal, and to maintain a sense of humor. Do you understand? You have all that you need. Don't let yourself be contained. Don't let yourself be slowed down. Life is prepared to receive you, so trust your boundless creative potential. Now, what challenges are present in your life right now? This person here is perfectly ready to engage himself fully in facing life's tests and challenges. But his greatest lesson is that his strong will can only help him towards his goal when it is in harmony with the will of the whole. But spread your arms wide and breathe deeply into your heart and say this because it is true. I love life and life loves me. Well, what a fascinating spread of cards for you. And didn't you do well?
Well, I told you that was going to be a very interesting deck, didn't I? And I think you'll agree with me that it was. I hope that you enjoyed the artwork as much as I did, and I hope that you enjoyed the reading as much as I did providing it to you. And if you did and you've made it this far, can you do me the great favor of, on the way out, hitting the like button and the subscribe button because it's good for the YouTube computer? You understand what I mean? But look, it's been wonderful to see you again. I hope to see you again next month, of course, unless I see you privately in between. But until then, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.